back to Bites of Pie. Today's video we're going to cover Lab6a Tracking Sales. We're given a program, a shell of a program, that allows the user to add the sales of individual salespeople, and it will sum all those sales up and spit out the total. So let's give it a run, see what it does. Alright, so it starts off by prompting prompting us for what did salesperson 0 start with. And we'll just add in some numbers for each salesperson. Notice the number of the salesperson. This happens to correspond with the array index. And then it spits out. So everything that we've entered in was spit back out to us. And then it also kept track of the sum and spit the sum out. Looking into the code, we can see we've created a new array of 5 salespeople. We have the loop already set up for us to enter in the sales for each associate. Then we loop through those sales again and print them out to the screen. And lastly, as we're going through the loop, printing them out, we're reusing this loop and adding every time we go through. We're going to add the sale of each salesperson to a variable called sum, and then we print out sum. So let's take a look at the first thing. The first thing should be fairly easy since we've kind of got all the tools ready for us. Compute and print the average sale per person. Well, if we know what the average is, it's really the sum of all the sales together divided by how many salespeople there were. So we've got the sum of we've already got this, the sum. So let's just repeat that. We have the sum, and really what the average is the sum divided by the number of salespeople. Well, we know the number of salespeople is how many individuals there are in the array sales. So if I was to borrow this array length, I'll know that there are this many people, salespeople, and the average is that divided by that. So let's take a look at the output, and it's already everything we've done today. You'll notice some minor differences. Instead of 0 to 5, it's 1 through 6. So we'll be changing that later. But really we want to print out right here, right after we print out the total number of sales, we want to print out the average. So I'm just going to kind of copy and paste this from the sample output. This is probably a good idea to do, especially if you're asked to kind of repeat what the output says, is to do the copy and pasting of the boilerplate stuff like this so I don't have to type it in. So the average amount of sales per person is that. Alright, I don't want to waste time, and I'll run that to check it later. So I'm going to bounce on to the second part. Find the maximum sale. I need to find the maximum sale and the associate ID. Find the associate who has the maximum sale and the value of that sale, and then print that max sale and associate ID out. So taking a look back at the sample output, here I am, I'm entering in for the sales ID. At the end of the day, I print out salesperson 4 had the highest sale with 80. So if I look here, yep, sure enough, that has the highest value. So just like I did with sum, I'm going to borrow this loop. And right here, it kind of gives me a hint. This is where I want, in this to-do section, where I want to keep track of the maximum sale. So I'm going to create two additional variables. Int, I'm just going to say I max sale, and then maybe another one, I max associate. So these two variables are going to track the maximum dollar sale and who made that sale. I'm going to loop through all of those. First I'm going to initialize them here before I do the loop, just to be safe. And I'm going to say the maximum sale, a nice trick to do it is to start off by setting the maximum sale to the first associate. So if I had an array of 1, the maximum sale is going to be that 1. If there's more than 1, I'll have to change it as I go along. But it's always a good idea to kind of set the first value of something you're going to keep track of to the first item of that array. So if starting at the beginning, the top sale is from associate 0, I want to make sure that I set the max associate to 0 first. Alright, now that I've set the max sale and max associate to the first associate, I want to loop through and check every other associate. if I find, so here, if I find that the sale of the next associate is larger than the maximum sale that I've kept track of, I want to do two things. First, I want to make sure that I have a new maximum. I want to set the maximum to this new value. And it's scooted all over the place. So if I found my new maximum, I want to set the max to that, and I want to make sure that I keep track of who did that. So the person at position I is the associate who sold the most. So I want to keep track of that. Alright, now I've got a little algorithm here. As I loop through all the associates, if I find a larger sale than what I've already previously gotten, I want to set the sale and the associate. And finally, I want to print that out here. So let me just kind of do a little bit of copy pasting. Alright, let's actually paste it right here. And to make it look like the sample output, this is always a good idea to use copy and paste so I don't have to type. It's kind of the lazy person's way of doing it. Salesperson, so I want to change that to the variable, had the highest sale with that many dollars. So I've kept track of that with max sale and max associate, so I want to print that out. So salesperson max associate had the highest sale with max sale. Alright, now that I've kind of done these two, let's try it out and see if that works. So let's run this again and see what happens. Alright, this won't be exactly like the sample output here. Well, let's do the sample output, might as well. 40, 50, 45, 80, 30, and 65. Oh, looks like I've actually done more. But it did work out. I noticed that out of all these sales, salesperson 3 had the largest sale with 80, and it kept track of that. And it also kept track of the average. So you're going to want to continue this, do a similar thing, but instead of the maximum sale, you want to keep track of the minimum sale for number 3. Number 4, you want to set a sales goal, and you want to keep track of all those who exceeded that goal. So you notice at the end, if I set a sales goal of $50, I want to be able to know that these people hit that goal. And then salesperson with a 0 for an ID, so you can get creative. Instead of starting with 0 and going to whomever, you want to start with 1 and go to 6. Now the arrays won't store. You can do this very creatively. Either you just do it on the output. You keep track of it in 0, and when you output things, you just add 1 to them. Or you can skip over the first item in the array, and make it one larger than normal. There's many different creative ways to do this. And lastly, allow the user to determine how many salespeople there will be. Notice that up here at the top, I have hard-coded in salespeople equal 5. There's a way here. Notice in the sample output, I prompt the user to say how many salespeople you want. So here in the sample output, they chose 6. So this is a challenge. You should be able to do this. You have all the tools. So good luck. Thanks for watching.